Happy Wednesday and welcome to a special update episode. I'm John Lorden. Thank you so much for spending some time with me here today. 3 very important case updates that we want to share with you guys on cases that we've covered very recently, actually, for all 3 of them. Let's go ahead and get started with a case that happened. This murder happened just about 5 months ago. The episode of Brainscratch was called The Racetrack Murder of Elijah Wood. And here we see that we've got surveillance footage showing the suspect, but we had a lot of big questions in that episode. Law enforcement wasn't even certain what the sex of the suspect was. Now, seems like some of that information's firming up, and there's a new composite sketch. Elijah Wood's family hopes GBI suspect sketch helps catch killer. Thanks to 11 Alive for the information here. It's been 5 months since someone shot and killed Elijah Wood. Quote, "Not only was Elijah murdered and taken away from us, but we have to fight to get stuff out there so we can catch this guy," said Trip Lemons, Wood's brother-in-law. We want to help their family on all fronts. So hearing that they're struggling to get this information out, please help us raise exposure. Share this video with others. The investigation got a big boost this week. The GBI released this sketch, a man they believe, first of all, they're saying a man, so they've made some determination here. A man they believe is in his late teens to early 30s, between 5'10" to 6 feet tall. And this is the sketch. Now they are noting, I did watch a news segment about this. The details of this sketch, I mean, obviously look at the photo we've got here. There's some detail. I don't know how they're getting this based off the footage that we've seen. So it's not, don't think of this as a photograph. This is really for people in the area that maybe they thought about someone in their life that they had a suspicion about, and now you're seeing the sketch and they're like, wow, that really does look like X person or something like that. We don't want you guys to take this sketch, start going on Facebook, going through Elijah's friends list and comparing it. Trust me, the investigators are running all those avenues. You don't have to do that type of work. We're really looking for someone close to the area, close to the situation, that maybe this suspect sketch is a bit of a trigger for. We are very thankful that the GBI has come in and gotten the sketch out for us, and we're doing everything we can to get the sketch passed around. We're also working on our own flyers to get stuff out, Lemons said. And I know Tripp has been working very hard on this case ever since it started. So once again, here is that sketch. Let's continue on to our next story. It's just a very brief update on Summer Wells' case. I know there's a lot of people that are covering this case in depth. I'm gonna keep watching it, but I'm going to only bring you guys the stuff that I think is really important and high level. There's a lot of drama that is swirling around this case, particularly in the social media front. I don't want to participate in that, but I want to make sure that we're getting the important information out. And I myself was a little confused based off some of the stuff I was seeing in social media about this search for the truck. So let's get that squared up and make sure that we're all on the same page about that. Here at WCYB.com, search continues. So that's the main thing, because there was some messaging getting out there that this truck had been located. As of just a few days ago, that's not the case. And I went looking for current news. That does not seem to be the case right now. Search continues for red or maroon Toyota Tacoma in Summer Wells' case. Agents and Hawkins County detectives continue to search for a 1998 to 2000 maroon or red Toyota Tacoma with a full bed ladder rack and white buckets in the truck bed. Sounds to me like a construction vehicle. For a while, I used to work in my father's painting company. That sounds almost like a vehicle I'd be driving around. Full ladder rack, ladders on it, white buckets, usually 5-gallon buckets for paint. But there are other construction industries certainly that would have vehicles that look like that as well. Plasterers might have a vehicle that looks like that as well. This search stems from information investigators received that a truck matching that description was seen in the area of Beach Creek Road and Ben Hill Road in the late afternoon to early evening on either Monday, June 14th, or Tuesday, June 15th. Obviously, a very important time frame for this case because she's called in missing late on June 15th. The TBI says that a photo of what the truck may look like has been circulating on social media, along with claims that the vehicle has been located. So we already know the vehicle hasn't been located, but on top of that, that photo was never released by law enforcement and is not accurate. So I don't know if people are seeing that photo, assuming that's the actual truck, and then trying to act on the information in that way. You know, sometimes even here on the channel, if we get a description about a vehicle, particular make or model, we'll show a image of that, particularly for missing persons cases, to say, this is what the vehicle should look like. But you know, with a lot of social media platforms, like Twitter in particular, you don't get to write out this huge explanation. So I don't know if people have been taking that photo to be like an actual photo of the vehicle or something like that. But more importantly, the information that the truck has been found is not accurate. Outside of that, sounds like that particular photo they're referring to, and I wish they would actually show it so I could tell you guys specifically what photo it is, but they're saying that that photo is also not accurate. The TBI is also aware of individuals. I don't know why this happens in these cases. It really upsets me. The TBI is also aware of individuals asking for donations from the public under the pretense that they are assisting law enforcement. Agents and Hawkins County detectives have not requested investigative assistance from any private citizen. I can't think. I guess in some unidentified persons cases, sometimes you will have like a small law enforcement entity that might want to do a fundraiser or something like that for some form of DNA testing. It is so rare for law enforcement to ask for funds directly from the public for a particular case. It almost never happens. Outside of unidentified persons, I really can't think of another instance where it might have happened. If you guys can think of some, tell me about it in the comment box down below. But for people to be doing fundraisers in the name of law enforcement, sometimes in the name of the family, and those funds aren't even getting back to the family, these are just terrible, terrible occurrences. And in a case that is already heartbreaking enough, where there is a lot of heat emotionally, this is the last thing that this case needs. So I just wanted to let you guys know. I mean, if you are looking to donate to some cause for Summer's case, and you're seeing that it's a fund directly to help law enforcement in some way, that's not the way to do it. If you're looking for some way, I would say reach out to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. You know that your funds are always going to be used well with that organization and will help tons of missing children's cases in particular. A few weeks ago, I did one of these Wednesday update videos that almost turned into its own episode of Brainscratch. It's probably the longest Wednesday video that I've done in a while, and it was this one, Accident or Foul Play, the Tragedy of Toyin Amuda. And some new information has come out. This is a case that I think has really important elements in terms of discussions that we need to have socially, but within our families, with our children, with our teens, about being safe. This is seemingly a high school party where things went wrong. A high school party where there was alcohol, possibly some marijuana use as well. But there was this big question. Toyin winds up in the pool, deceased. What happened? How did he get there? What are the conditions around this? Is there a criminal act in this? There's some new information that's coming out. We had the medical examiner originally say it was an accident, then kind of roll it back to undetermined. Here at KFOR.com, let's get the latest. The Office of the Chief Medical Examiner has made a ruling in the drowning death of Toyin Amuda, an 18-year-old recent graduate of Deer Creek High School who was found dead in the pool of a $1 million home after a party. The medical examiner's report initially stated that the manner of Amuda's death was an accident, but that was changed to pending back on June 24th. The cause of death was listed as drowning. Now, the cause and manner of death have been confirmed as an accidental drowning. How does that information get confirmed? I don't know. It seems like kind of a light version of the report was released, but not the full autopsy report. Hasn't been released to media yet. I'm seeing some media sources say that it's supposed to be coming maybe within the next few weeks. I don't know if there's additional details that are going to help firm that up. One of the big questions I had in the original coverage is, why isn't law enforcement just coming out with the BAC? Just let us know what his BAC is. It seemed like the assumption was Toyin had too much to drink. His judgment might have been impaired. As a matter of fact, let's look at an article here from the Oklahoman.com. Oklahoma County Sheriff's Office investigators previously said Amuda may have accidentally fallen in the water or entered on his own after consuming alcohol and marijuana. Quote, a toxicology screening is being performed by the medical examiner's office. It was noted by emergency medical services there was a strong smell of alcohol about Toyin's person. And that's after they took him out of the water. So kind of hearing that, I was assuming that we were going to hear of a BAC that is extremely high. But some of these articles aren't getting to the BAC. Thankfully, one of them does. Over here at KOCO.com. Investigators revealed what they read in the medical examiner's report. So obviously the investigators had access to the full report. Quote, it's just more information that we were using to put together a larger puzzle, said Oklahoma County Sheriff's Office spokesman Aaron Brilbeck. Authorities released a summary report, which says Amuda accidentally drowned. However, the sheriff's office has a more in-depth report. That comprehensive report details Amuda's blood alcohol level from his autopsy. So what was it? His intoxication level, his BAC level was 0.10, which is legally intoxicated, also shows significant impairment. So he was intoxicated at the time of his death, Brilbeck said. Now, being perfectly honest with you guys, when I heard 1.0, I just had like this knee-jerk reaction of, this can't be right. Like this 1.0, like, aren't we hitting that when we go to the bar and get a ride home from Uber or Lyft, thankfully. But, and I had to keep trying to reframe it. We're talking about a teenager that might not have a whole lot of experience with alcohol. We're talking about a compounded effect, possibly with marijuana use at the same time. And I don't know that there's a great way to kind of measure the marijuana use effect, particularly compounded with the alcohol effect. But I'll still tell you guys, I'm still kind of struggling a little bit with the 1.0. Like hearing that he smelled like alcohol after they took him out of the pool, I was expecting to hear something significantly higher that was going to kind of support this theory. And I don't know. For me, I'm not 100% sure. We're going to look into some more information here to try to get a better gauge on it. But this article also notes the sheriff's office is running into another problem in terms of this investigation. Here's another quote from Brilbeck. I know that the family has been frustrated. I know the community's been frustrated as far as the length of time that this investigation has taken. There were a lot of people at that party. A lot of them have retained attorneys. So now, admittedly, we're talking a high school party. Sounds like this might have been in an affluent area. So I don't know if this is just the families trying to make sure that they're protecting their teens that might have been there. And admittedly, it sounds like a lot of the teens probably went home and said, oh my God, do you know what happened? This boy died at the party. And the parents might have asked, well, what was going on there? Did you see, was there alcohol? Was there drugs? And if the teens said yes to that, that might have been the catalyst for a lot of them getting lawyers very, very quickly. So let's take a look just at some information about BACs. Now, of course, in most states, 0.08 is the legal limit in the U.S. From what I understand, I think a few states have actually pushed it down to 0.05. So here at alcohol.org, let's just start with 0.08. This is the current legal limit in the U.S. other than Utah. And at this level, it's considered illegal and unsafe to drive. You will lose more coordination, so your balance, speech, reaction times, and even hearing will get worse. Standing still, focusing on objects, and evading obstacles are all much harder. Reasoning, judgment, self-control, concentration, and memory will be impaired. Short-term memory loss may start. Now, I think the most important of these conditions here is really reasoning and or judgment, because it sounds like Toyin did not know how to swim. And at this point, already at a 0.08, if your reasoning's being impaired or your judgment's being impaired, you're seeing a bunch of your friends are getting in and out of the pool. We know his clothes are found. It sounds like they were kind of stacked neatly somewhere outside of the pool. They were not wet. So it sounds like he got himself ready to go into the pool and might have chosen to go into the pool. And could a 0.08 actually affect your judgment at that point to do that? I think that that's probably likely. At 0.10, reaction time and control will be reduced. Speech will be slurred. Thinking and reasoning are slower, and the ability to coordinate your arms and legs is poor. So there we get even stronger problems in terms of what's going on with your motor functions. If you're already trying to do something you don't know how to do, and all of a sudden you have alcohol impairing your arms and legs and the use of them, that could really turn into a bad situation. Now, how many drinks would it have taken Toyin to get to a 1.0? Here at DWISpringfield.com, they're noting that at 140 pounds, it takes about 4 drinks an hour to reach a 0.08 BAC. And I don't know Toyin's weight off the top of my head, but I would bet he might even be lighter than 140 pounds. So for him to get to a 0.10, we're looking at more than 4 drinks an hour, somewhere in the 4 to 5 range. Just so you guys are aware, at 180 pounds, it would take 5 drinks to hit 0.08. At 220, it would take about 6 drinks to reach a 0.08. And that was another thing that kind of shifted my consideration with this case as well. I'm certainly closer to the 5 to 6 drinks, let's just say, in terms of me hitting a 0.08. And for me to have 5 or 6 drinks within an hour, I feel like I would probably be pretty close to floored. And apparently that's only getting me close to like a 0.10. I'm usually kind of feeling okay just with 2, maybe 3 an hour. And even if I do that for a few hours, I've got to stop because I know I'm not feeling good anymore. So that really kind of, once again, pulled it into my perspective too. If we're thinking about someone at 140 pounds or even less, and, he's having 4 drinks in that hour, that could certainly get him up to a 1.0, and that could be a real serious impairment. Now, despite the fact that this is accidental, I think Toyin's family said it very well. Seems like this is 100% preventable, that this tragedy was very easily avoidable. And that's where I think the conversation needs to keep going, needs to continue. And maybe, I don't know if there would be criminal charges necessarily. Could there be a wrongful death suit or something along those lines? Possibly. We've got another story here from news9.com about more information, and investigators seem like they might not be getting the whole story. More newly obtained search warrants reveal details about the home where Deer Creek teen Toyin Amuda drowned. A search warrant filed by the Oklahoma County Sheriff's Office said it's evident the whole truth has not been reported. In the most recent search warrant, a witness told deputies that one of the homeowners was seen in the kitchen while multiple underage kids were drinking just outside. The same person said alcohol was in plain sight, and there is no way at least one of the parents would not know there was alcohol being consumed by the partygoers. The search warrant was filed to look at the homeowner's bank statements and security cameras. Now, if I remember correctly, I think they already went asking for the security cameras and were told that the security cameras don't work at that home for some reason. Bank statements, certainly interesting, because it sounds to me like they're looking for, did the parents buy this alcohol? The homeowners told deputies on scene that their DVRs didn't work, but with the warrant, deputies were able to take the system. So they're certainly going to do their own analysis on that. No charges have been filed against the homeowners, so News 9 is not naming them. And, it's not one of these situations where I feel like we need to go after someone. Like, we need to start a witch hunt, an unnecessary witch hunt over this. But I think to understand the conditions of what's going on here, I think the possibility that Toyin's family might need to seek damages they're now going to pay for a funeral. They're going to pay for the rest of their lives not having their son around anymore. I think this is important information. I'm glad that investigators are still looking into these angles and researching this. Not to mention, and I don't want to retread the last episode, I'll have a link to it in the description box down below, but there's some interesting laws in Oklahoma in particular about hosting a party and providing alcohol like that. So check out that episode if you want to learn more about that. It's just heartbreaking to think about what this family's going through, what all these families are going through in today's episode. I hope that you guys that are watching this video are hearing these considerations, thinking about your own lives and how you can implement safeguards against some of these situations, having important discussion with family members if you need to. It's a terrible thing for these families to be going through this. I almost feel like it would be a worse thing for other families to not be recognizing what they're going through and then, first of all, supporting them, but also trying to learn and implement that for ourselves as well. Thanks so much for your time today. I'll see you again on Friday with a brand new episode of Brainscratch right here on the Lord and Arts channel.